take you to meet the new sheriff of Rock Ridge.
I'd be delighted. Wow! I've got to talk to you. Come here. Have you gone berserk? Can't you see that that man is a nit? Wrong person. Forgive me. No offense intended. Have you gone berserk? Can't you see that that man is a nit?
Nice beaver.
Thank you. I just had it stuffed.
Let me help you with that.
I've heard police work is dangerous.
It is. That's why I carry a big gun.
Aren't you afraid it might go off accidentally?
I used to have that problem.
Well, what did you do about it?
I just think about baseball.
Oh, man. Oh, we have plenty of viewers out there today because we have a very fun episode here. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the BW Flix, the Average Movie Critics. I'm James Martin, J-Train, your host, along with my co-host, Brian Arndt, my man, my ace Boom Coon. How you doing, B?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing real good. It was
I'm
kind of
just- I
hard
mean, I'm
looking
in
at
a-
these movies a little bit for.
I'm in a really good mood, man. These movies will have you in stitches the whole time. And as old as they are, what's up, Yenza, man? I hope you here for the long haul. Don't fall asleep. I hope we're not boring you to death. I hope you have a good time with these movies today. Look, I really enjoy watching these movies. One's 1974, one's 1988, and they still hold up very well, man. Hold up. And what I'm talking about, the movies are in order. First of all, this is our sixth episode of the BW Flix. I'm glad we're able to still be here talking to you, having fun. But the movies are the Blazing Saddles. Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles in 1974, and The Naked Gun, The Police Squad in 1988 with the late great Leslie Nielsen. But we're going to be talking about Blazing Saddles at first. Brian, why don't you give us a little bit of the superlatives of that movie?
All right. So Blazing Saddles, it was directed by Mel Brooks. He is also in the movie. He played the governor in the movie. And it's starring Cleavon Little as Bart, Gene Wilder as the Waco Kid, Harvey Korman as Hedley Lamar, Slim Pickens as Taggart, Madeline Kahn as Lily Von Stoop, and Alex Caress as Mungo. The music by John Morris. Production company was Crossroad Productions, distributed by Warner Brothers. It was released on February 7th, 1974. Running time is 93 minutes. The budget is $2.6 million, but the box office it made was $119.6 million. So people love comedy and racism.
Phenomenal. And yes, exactly. And the great thing about this movie is that they specifically try to attack. Yes, we understand, my man. So the movies, this movie particularly, they attack so many different areas of things that was wrong with our country, with racism, segregation, murder, mayhem. Things you can just think of that was just terrible. And they made fun of it. They made fun of it all the way through everything. And there was self-deprecation. Mel Brooks himself, being a Jewish guy, he threw in Jewish jokes. There were racist, I'm going to say the N-word, nigger jokes. There was just sexism. Against females. It was everything. It was no holds barred. And the crazy thing about it is, if you would think a movie like this would be, I guess now would be considered a movie that would be risque or something that would be
politically incorrect.
canceled. Yes, or canceled.
Cancel culture.
But in reality, when you look at the movie, they're making fun. They're actually woke. They're making fun of the things to bring attention to all the things that were wrong with our country at the time. And while having you laugh at it and look at it to make it seem like they even said it. What some of the things, some of the people in the movie, Gene Wilder's character, Jim, the Waco Kid, called them morons. So it's a really good movie. But let me get you the premise of the movie. So it's a comedy, a satirical comedy, Western comedy that has many deliberate anachronisms. And if you don't know what anachronisms are out there, it's a big word that I had to look up myself when I saw it. And it's mixing things that don't belong in time periods. There were so many things, like we had Nazis in the Western comedy. Mm-hmm. We had Ku Klux Klansmen in the Western comedy. We had a mixture of the studio itself, the Warner Brothers studio, with the movie, the Chinese theater in the movie, Cadillac cars at the end of the movie to ride off into the sunset. So it was just, and that's just a small part of it. I'm just giving you some of the pieces of anachronisms that were in the movie, but deliberately done. It wasn't like a blooper that happened. So these are like things that shouldn't have happened, but it accidentally got put into the movie. This is deliberate to be funny. Let's see. So, and it was based in American Frontier in 1974, where we see there's workers. What's going on, David? There are workers that are working on the Transcontinental Railroad. They didn't say the Transcontinental Railroad, but they're working on the railroad to go back and forth to, obviously make money. And so while they're there and on the railroad, they have a bit of a detour with quicksand. So they're trying to figure out how to get around that. We have one of our protagonists, Bart, gets sent out. Him and his partner, another black guy, they get sent to go to look into the situation with the quicksand, and they fall into it. So they fall into it. They realize that the train can't go any further, so they got to go to their boss, which is the antagonist, and that's the Attorney General, Hedley Lamar. And if you realize why I'm saying it, like, that's how Hedley talks. He talks very proper and evil and diabolical. And so Hedley Lamar, which is mistaken for the actress in the 1920s, Hedy Lamar, it gets referenced in the movie several times by everybody calling him Hetty, and he has to correct him saying Hedley. Did I say Odie?
It's Hedley.
Oh, it's Hedley. So while they're doing this, they're figuring out a way to be able to detour, and the way to detour is to go into the town called Rock Ridge. Rock Ridge is a town where it's got
we're gonna go further back than that pretty soon. So
yes, exactly. It's occupied by the small town of people, all white people, because again, this movie is deals with all racism and segregation. Yes, exactly. It is very corny in some parts, but it's very hysterical. It will have you in stitches in some part. And believe it or not, I don't know if you mentioned this about the screenplay. Mel Brooks was a writer, and Richard Pryor was a writer on this movie too, as well. Yes, neither was I, bro. 1 year. I 1 year before I was born. So I had no idea what Blazing Saddles was until I was about 7 or 8, and still didn't understand some things. I shouldn't have been watching this at 7 or 8, but I did. So let's just say, getting back to the movie, they figure out a way to go through another town, and not only go through that town, but to make a whole bunch of money. But they got to get rid of the people, inhabitants. And so they send as what's the guy's name? Bart, the main protagonist, becomes the sheriff there. He gets the governor to anoint him as the sheriff, so they can discourage the people from being in that town, and they make them want to leave the town, or they can actually take advantage of them, or take advantage of the town and make sure that these people, just follow their every whim. But things just seem to go wrong. I mean, it doesn't go as planned, because Bart seems to be a really shrewd individual, and he's able to win over the people in the town. Yes, please find your VCR, my man. If you got beta, find it too. So you're probably too young to know what that is too. So Bart himself is able to win over the people in the town, and have, like you said, there's you mentioned to me earlier, we got a video there's this character by the name of Mungo. He's huge, dim-witted character, antagonist that's meant to go into the town and take over the town. But let's watch that video real quick.
You friends and neighbors kind of gather around and holy shit!
Hey, you can't park that animal over there. It's illegal.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. If you shoot him, you just make him mad.
Mungo like candy.
So, so they were able to subdue Mungo, not with by using the strength, which they couldn't outdo him with strength. They were able to outdo him with wit. And so, but Mungo, that wins him over as well because nobody's ever beat him, and everybody tried to subdue him previously in his past, where he was, from what the things that he said, with strength, and no, everybody was scared. Yes. Yes, that poor horse didn't stand a chance. With that said, look, I meant to mention Gene Wilder is in the movie as well, and he portrays the fastest gun in the West who's lost his confidence because he thinks his hand is real shaky and becomes an alcoholic. But they become partners there, and they help the town go up against Headley. I would keep wanting to say Hetty, just like they get you in the movie by saying Hetty, but Headley Lamar and Taggart and the rest of his cronies. Look, I really like this movie. The way his direction is heading, I think that it's funny. It's got different parts in it. Everybody's character is developed well, including Lily von Stumpf, who's the seductress from the German seductress that Headley sends to try to seduce the Bart, the sheriff, and ends up falling in love with him. So she ends up joining their side. So now they realize they got to build an army. They build an army. This is where the crazy humor. I mean, it's throughout the whole movie, but they build an army of so many different people that it's crazy because they have Ku Klux Klanmen, they have bikers. Like I said, acronym. They don't belong in this part. They have bikers. They have Nazi soldiers. It is great. Thank you. Appreciate it, Rochelle. Nazi criminals. Nazi soldiers. They have who else in the movie? Like I said, the Ku Klux Klanmen, and they end up taking over to the Ku Klux Klanmen and standing in line trying to find out what the plans are. And of course, when they come up, both Bart and the Waco kids come up and try to sign up as soldiers. Bart's hands that are black hands are revealed, and immediately Waco's kid says, "What did I tell you about cleaning your hands and washing them off?" See, and he turns it over and
trying to wipe it off. He's like, it's coming off. It's coming off.
It shows his palm. And so, of course, Taggart realizes who they are. They run and they escape. And they concoct a plan to be able to stop them or slow them down and stop them from taking over the town. Which they eventually do. They get into a war. They get into a fight. They build a fake town, and they get into a fight there, and the town people take over and subdue the criminals and the thuggers and muggers and buggers and everything else that Headley Lamar says he was looking for. And Headley escapes, and actually they mix the movie set, the Western town, into the actual studio, into what's going like a burlesque, some sort of musical, Tuxedo Tales and Top Hats musical, and starts fighting these guys. And of course, Headley escapes, and he goes to the actual filming of Blazing Saddles at the Chinese Theater, and he's followed by Bart the sheriff, and eventually they get into a fight. They get into a gunfight. Hetty loses. He's killed right there, and him and Bart and the Waco's kids, Jim, ride off into the sunset, only to get into a Cadillac and ride off further into the sunset, and the movie ends. Look, man, this movie is crazy for its time. I believe in 1974. It was outrageous. Like you said, on a budget of 2.6, and they made 119 million. That's how, like you said, that's how great it was. That's what people were looking for. 1974. We're past, far past Jim Crow. We're far past the civil rights movement. Obviously, things are still going on, and we're in the black exploitation period. Where if you're African American, those are the movies in the 70s that you were offered that you were in, unless you were Sidney Poitier. Um, I loved it. I actually love every point that Mel Brooks tried to hit on, because again, he was very self-deprecating. Like you said, like I said, nothing was there was no holds bar on anything. They attacked racism, they attacked sexism, they attacked uh, uh, Native Americans, blacks, Irish, Chinese, white. Everybody looked silly and crazy and funny in this movie, and it was a masterpiece to me. I think everything. I like the acronym, how Mel Brooks' genius, and of course Richard Pryor and the other guys that were writing, they were able to fuse other parts of time periods and put it into this Western, so you just wouldn't look at it as a Western. Of course, even though it was a comedy satire, it still was. It was very brilliant how they were able to put to just collaborate those pieces together and make it a masterpiece to me. I like Mel Brooks. I've always been a fan of his movies. Later on, you be talking about Young Frankenstein. We're talking about The Producers, Spaceballs, different movies. Yes, one of my favorites. But this is History of the World. But this by far is like you told me off air that you probably watched this over 500 times. I wouldn't say I haven't watched it that much, but I've watched it enough to be able to enjoy this movie, and revisiting this movie really just had me in stitches. I was cracking up laughing the whole time, man, because it was just pretty funny, and it was so quick witted, and you could tell some of the parts of the movies there had to be ad libs in the movie. I mean, you can and that's what makes up for great comical movies. Like say for instance, like Caddyshack. From what I understand, that whole movie was just total ad lib from all the comedians, and I could tell that this movie probably was as well, but it was still well done. That they had so many different things, which I'm gonna name some of the quotes in the movie, but I want to get to your perspective and let you talk about the movie and what you think about it, and then we can go back and forth with that. We got good time here.
Well, just to give you some side notes of this movie too, in the casting, Richard Pryor was the original choice to play Sheriff Bart, but the alleged what was alleged is that the studio claimed of his drug arrest made him uninsurable and refused to approve financing with Pryor as the star. So because of his antics off the set, or not whatever the case may be, so that's why he didn't get the lead role. Mel Brooks had numerous conflicts with Warner Brothers executives, including the frequent use of the word, the N-word, Lily Von Stoop seduction scene, and the whole thing around the campfire about the flatulence when they were eating the beans, and then Mongo punching the horse out. They kind of had little things about that going on. And then they cut apart one of the lines that Bart had, which was, "I hate to disappoint you, man, but you're sucking my arm." Cut that out when they were in that seduction scene. That would have been that probably would have made even funnier. But don't punch any deers, man. Don't punch a deer, man. Be nice.
Unless you're going to eat it. Unless you're going to eat it and bring it in and make some venison. Yeah, leave the deer alone.
Yeah. Then you might want to even try. Never mind. Anyway, but yeah, the movie is funny. It's been an instant classic since it came out. Yes, the extraordinary use of the word "N" is very prominent in this movie. In fact, I when I was trying to do all these cuts and the videos of the movie, you know, I'm trying not to put that in there because I didn't want to offend anybody either at the same time. But I mean, it's something that people have to understand that it wasn't PC then. There was no kind of PC or woke or, you know, the whole situation where people are going to get canceled. That's a social media thing. And, you know, Django, we were talking about Django as well off screen about how that had a lot of N-words in it too. But you got to look past the words that are used. You got to kind of look toward what they are trying to get at you about in the movie. And I think I think Mel Brooks did a very good job on that. Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder, I thought, played very prominent roles with African Americans in the film industry. Gene Wilder was a big time guy with Richard Pryor. They did a lot of movies together. And probably if Richard Pryor was able to do this movie, you know, he'd probably been doing it with him too. But
yes,
I mean, there's so many funny things in there that you watch it so many times, you just pick out the funny things in there. And then sometimes you might even catch like newer funny things in there. Like when Tabbert and Headley were talking in the office, and he was talking about what he was going to do to the townspeople. Taggart was going to do to the townspeople. And he's going to cut and do this and what was it? Hang him or
number 6. They're going to do a number 6.
Number 6, and Haley says that's too Jewish.
Kill the first babies. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
the firstborn babies.
All the firstborn babies. Yeah, that's too Jewish. Little things like that. Or then when Taggart was talking to the other guy trying to relay a message to Headley about something, and Bart, then working on a railroad, got PO'd because he had to do all that work after they didn't drag him out of the quicksand. And he hit him in the back of the head with a shovel, and he goes, and say, ouch. He goes, okay, I'll put that down there. Yeah, he said, and ouch, and then walked away. That was really the reason why that Bart was in jail in the first place, because he assaulted Taggart, and that's why they made him the mayor, because they wanted the whole town to go against him, being Bart, because he was black. And they thought that was going to do it. But he brought everybody together. In fact, he faked his own hostage situation at the podium. There's so many things that are so hilarious, too. The fact that the fastest gun in the West was motivated into alcoholism because a 6-year-old snuck up behind him and shot him in the ass. That right there was, I was like, okay, whatever, man. But yeah, it was a fun movie.
They're crazy, yes. Oh my goodness. So there are some quotes from this movie that I like to mention before we get to the next movie. But one of my favorites, man, is Hedley Lamar. First of all, Harvey Korman is just brilliant playing this character. And if you don't know who Harvey Korman is, just go watch the Carol Burnett show. He's definitely one of the main guys on that show, and he steals so many scenes, and it's just like it was her variety show. And so, you know, he was one of the main characters that main players there. And he played many different parts there. But man, too funny. But this is a scene where he and Taggart, like you said, were in their office, and when he realizes that nothing that he's doing is working. So Taggart kind of mentioned off kilter. Taggart doesn't realize he's giving him ideas, but he gives him an idea about getting an army. And so he gets an army, and then he begins to name all the people that he wants. And he's like, I want rustlers, cutthroats, murderers, bounty hunters, desperados, mugs, pugs, thugs, nitwits, halfwits, dimwits, vipers, snipers, conmen, Indian agents, Mexican bandits, muggers, buggerers, bushwhackers, hornswagglers, horse thieves, bull dykes, train robbers, bank robbers, ass kickers, shit kickers, and Methodists.
Yeah, they have nothing.
And then Taggart searching his pockets for the paper while he said, write this down. And he says all that. And he said, and he finally gets the paper. He said, can you repeat that?
And Hedley looks at him like, damn it. Yeah, that was hilarious, that one, yeah. And
also Lyle, the guy you mentioned Taggart. He's at the beginning when they're on a train. Lyle is the guy as he says a couple of funny lines too as well to the guys on the train. And what does he say? He said, "Come on, boys, the way you lollygagging with those picks and shovels, you think it was 120 degrees. Can't be more than 114." And then the Chinese man falls out, passes out. He said, "Knock that chink a day's pay for napping on a job." It's crazy. So, and he looks at the black man, and man, it's just so stereotypical, man. It's just hilarious. But they find a way to make fun of these guys. But I mean, Lyle goes on to say to them, he says, "Now, come on, boys, where's your spirits? I don't hear no singing. When you were slaves, you sang like birds. Go on. How about a good old nigger work song?" And they're like, "Nigga work song?" And he says, and Bart starts singing. He looks at him, he's like, he said, "Get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true that I get a belt out of you?" Bum, 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 bum,
so
bum,
far
bum.
from the spirituals that were sung from, yeah.
And he says, hold it. What in the hell is that shit?
And then he started acting out.
And he said, "I'm talking about songs, a real song. Like Swing Low, Sweet Chariot." He's like, "Swing low." The black dudes are looking at each other like, "Swing low, sweet chariot." They don't know. And so that's pretty funny to me. And you know, it's just things like that. It makes him look real stupid in the movie, and it's just funny. Mel Gibson, him and Richard Pryor, man, are brilliant, very brilliant, and it was great collaboration. And like you said, with Mel Brooks. I said Mel Gibson, Mel Brooks, and the collaboration between, even if it's off screen, but Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, they were just great together. Their chemistry together. I mean, Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Stir Crazy, Silver Streak, with them on the train. Just great movies, man. Just have you in stitches, you know. But I really enjoyed this movie, man. And that being said, I have to give this 5 buckets of popcorn with extra butter sauce. I mean, for me, it's just something I can repeat. If I see it on the screen, yes, then they're singing the Champagne song. Or they're singing Camptown Lady. They're saying right now, they're saying Camptown Lady. But I really enjoyed this movie. Just watching it again just warms my heart, man. Just because, again, the premise of it and what it's meant to attack and what it's meant to do. And it's just a brilliant comedy and satire while doing so. What do you think, my man?
Hey, I'm giving it a 5 too. I'd give it with butter, but I am giving it a 5 because it's going to be a movie that's going to go out through time. I mean, you can't make this stuff up as far as how they produced this movie, and it's always good. It's really, if you think about it, the movie's relevant for today. Yeah, you could replace some certain 1974-ish stuff that they got in there with 2026 stuff, but at the same time, they could probably remake this movie if people weren't in the cancel culture that they were, and it would still live on forever. It's one of those movies that can do that. It's funny. And this is what
do you really think they can remake this? I mean, would you really want anybody to touch that? Oh man, it's just comedy gold. I just don't know.
You know what? I think I mean, if they want to remake it, that's what they would have to. They would have to do. They would have to change a lot of stuff in it to make it more current, obviously. But at the same time, you know, because of this cancel culture, it would be hard to make that movie now because people would be like, you say it anywhere, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and they punched a horse. Peter would be all over that. You know, or the whole. I don't think the sexual scenes would be so hard to deal with. I think.
I mean, there's no nudity. It's nothing.
No,
it's just left for the imagination with good comedy. Yeah, so that's what makes it really like a masterpiece to be. Because I mean, most movies back then they didn't really show anything. You had, I mean, like movies back in the day, you had to have the imagination. Maybe so, Rochelle. Maybe I think the Wayans, because you know they're doing another scary movie now too. I think they got the rights back to their movies. So they're actually doing another scary movie. But you're probably right. They probably could do it. Peter probably hates. They probably hate this movie now. They probably hate it already. But now we're gonna move along to the next movie, which is Naked Gun. Again, this is actually one of my wife's favorites. But I actually enjoyed it too as well. We sat down and watched it together, and we were both laughing, man. It was still pretty funny. Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad. And believe it or not, I never knew that this was from a series that came out in '82 with Leslie Nielsen as the main protagonist called The Police Squad, which makes sense why it's called From the Files of the Police Squad. This movie is, like I said, in 1988, and I'll let you go ahead with the superlatives on that.
All right. So good old The Naked Gun. It was directed by David Zucker. It's starring Leslie Nielsen as Lieutenant Frank Drebin, George Kennedy as Captain Ed Hocken, Ricardo Montalban as Vincent Ludwig. Priscilla Presley was in this movie as Jane Spencer, and O.J. Simpson as Detective Norberg. Music was by Ira Newborn. Production company was Paramount Pictures, which was also the distribution company. Was released in December 2nd, 1988. Running time is 85 minutes. Budget was $14.5 million. The box office was $152.4 million. So basically,
ladies and gentlemen, both movies were major hits. Major hits.
Hey, Sonia.
Cool. What's going on, Sonia? How you doing? Yes, Naked Gun and its sequels were definitely very funny. Yes. So let's get to it. Frank Drebin. Leslie Nielsen is crazy as Frank Drebin. His humor is different. It's not. I mean, it's like total contrast from what the movie we just talked about, because he's serious. He's serious in his portrayal of a police officer, but everything he says is stupid and just totally off kilter and not what it's supposed to be. So him on a vacation in Beirut. I don't know who goes on vacation in Beirut. He's on a vacation in Beirut and ends up stopping a meeting with Idi Amin, Muammar Gaddafi, Ayatollah, Yasser Arafat, Fidel Castro, and Mikhail Gorbachev. Whom, and he gets into a fight with all of them, and he wipes Gorbachev's his birthmark, and he comes off and says, "I knew it." Goes back home a hero, gets off the plane thinking everybody is there for him, until it turns out everybody, and he pulls up to the mic talking about his ex-wife, and you know, is it really true about his wife? And then the captain tells him that yes, he left him for some gymnast or something like that, and the sex is the best she ever had. Like, it's way too much information, but they're there. The people are there for Weird Al Yankovic getting off the plane as well. But anyway, so they go on, and simultaneously while they're heading off, Detective Norberg is infiltrating. Have a good one, okay? Detective Norberg is infiltrating a potential drug bust that's led by Ludwig. What is Ludwig's first name?
Vincent.
Vincent Ludwig. Yes, Vincent Ludwig, and they shoot him. He gets shot several times, but the crazy thing is that he does everything else to put himself in a worse position, burning his hand on the stove, hitting his head on a pipe, leaning on a wall that's got paint on it. He's like, oh, excuse me. And then steps his foot into a bear trap. What is the bear trap doing in there? And then falls out and then falls into the ocean. And of course, he survives. And then they go visit him at the hospital to try to find out what's going on. Of course, he's heavily sedated already, and he's trying to tell him what's going on. And he says, "I love you," and he's, or where was he? And he said, "I love you," which is the name of the boat, ladies and gentlemen. But Frank thinks he's telling him, he said, "Well, I love you too, buddy." But he's asking about the drugs and everything. He says heroin, and he said that's gonna take. He said that's gonna take a couple of days, but that's a tall order. But that's gonna take a couple of days. I can get that for you. But I mean, it's just crazy. They go on into the situation where Frank goes to a conference to acknowledge the police squad is going to be escorting the Queen. A lot of shenanigans happen there. Wait, which video do we have? Just Brian, just so I remember, so I won't.
This is the baseball one at the end, near the end, when he's trying to find out about the player that is the one that's going to be under mind control.
Okay, cool.
To shoot the Queen.
So Drebin does more investigation, particularly with Ludwig. His assistant Jane keeps tabs on Drebin. They become very close and fall in love in the movie. Ludwig's plot is met with pap smear, where they discuss $20 million to assassinate the Queen. And so Ludwig's plan is he has this control, a hypnotic mind control, where when he presses a button, he takes a person, any average person it could be, to follow his direction and will actually try to kill whoever he says to kill. And so Drebin stumbles upon an assassination attempt of Detective Norberg at the hospital, and it turns out to be his doctor. But protecting him, he inadvertently knocks the doctor out. The doctor ends up on some machine out in the streets, and he's crashing into many different things. And of course, he dies after he's run into so many different cars and trucks and missile launchers and blows up finally. But it's crazy. Yes, into the fireworks factory. And of course, the Chinese people come running out of this. Is so stereotypical. Good evening, Danny. Hopefully you were able to catch our take on the first movie we talked about was Blazing Saddles. The two confront one another at the Queen's reception, both Frank and Ludwig, and Ludwig grabs a musket. Frank mistakenly mistakes that as an assassination attempt at the Queen, and of course runs to save her. He knocks her on the table and finds himself in a compromising missionary position, that is, and with her legs in the air, and they slide all the way down for the media to take pictures, which gets Frank fired from the force or police squad. Jane gets the news. Yes, not just the first one, but all the series. Yes, at some point we will be doing that. Jane gets news of the assassination plot and alerts Frank. Frank has to go in with the disguise to the stadium, because the assassination attempt is going to be at the stadium. Yes, both these comedies are classic, Danny. I mean, forever. I would tell Danny this and keep going. Danny, I still watch both movies and they still hold up, and they still make me laugh. It's like it's not like there's parts of the movie that I watch and I'm like, oh, that's not funny anymore. All of it's still pretty funny. So Frank goes in a disguise first as an opera singer that he ties up and holds him into the into the dressing room where he is and goes out and sings. Is this a part or a little bit later that we need to do the video?
It's the one where he's the umpire.
Yes. So he does the American anthem, and it's terrible. And then he goes back and then becomes an umpire as he knocks one of the guys out and takes his uniform and goes out to go call the game. And we're gonna watch a video quick on that real quick. Or should I tell a little more about it?
No, you're good. We start from the beginning. There you go.
So he calls the strike before it even comes to the catcher because he was so excited about how everybody was cheering him on. He think everything's for him, man. Oh my god, they never get stale or old, man. It's just hilarious. And so
I think the thing about that, the movie at this time coming out, or us reviewing it, and the way baseball is right now, if people would kind of rather go back to the old days of the umpire calling the balls and the strikes than ABS. In fact, that's just that.
Oh man, I wonder if Keith watches the show, man. We should get him to watch these shows. But we probably got to do movies like Major League and Field of Dreams or something like that, or Necessary Roughness, which are great, all great. Yeah, oh yes, he probably ever since our bomb of that movie, he probably stopped watching. But that being said, so Frank, he let me see, he gets into it with the ump and the manager. And they're fussing over the calls because at some point he's got to stall the next call, because if he strikes out another guy, it's about to be an assassination attempt. And so he calls ball, and they're clearly not ball. They're over the plate, and he keeps giving the guy a ball. So they're fussing about that, and of course they get into it, and the guy hits the ball up in the air, and he tries to catch the ball. He throws a whole bunch of balls out, and they still get the guy out. They still get the guy out. And that's when Reggie Jackson, who's he's on the Angels, right? He's
playing on the Angels.
He's playing on the Angels. He gets called. He's the assassinator, and the button gets clicked, and he goes to try to assassinate the Queen. Frank tries to shoot him with his lapel tranquilizer. He misses and hits the woman up in the upper deck. And then she falls on Reggie Jackson and stalls the assassination attempt on the Queen. And of course, Frank is the hero. But Ludwig takes Jane as his hostage, and he goes after them. His tranquilizer this time gets Ludwig. Ludwig falls over. He's steamrolled. He's ran over by the USC marching band.
And they said before that, it was like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. He'll be all right. Just gonna put him to sleep. And he goes over the rail and gets squished.
Right. Squished
was like,
and marched on. And accidentally they step on the button, and it activates Jane's hypnosis, and she goes to try to kill Frank. Frank talks her down and tells her he loves her and professes love in front of everybody. Everybody's crying and makes up, and he talks her down, and they hug. And of course, Norberg comes out of the hospital in a wheelchair. He's glad to see him, and he accidentally knocks him down. He goes down the steps and flips over the rail and falls down. The end. Too many pieces to cover in this movie. So many funny parts in this movie, man. It's just hilarious. Just one of my favorite movies, man. Naked Gun 2 was good. Naked Gun 3 was okay. When he went to prison with the criminals to escape, it was okay. But I love this movie. Naked Gun is one of my favorites. I'm going to give it 5 stars without the extra butter, but I give it 5 stars because it just, like I said, it just holds up. It's pretty funny.
I liked it. Now, as far as it being comparable, see, because when you do these reviews, I try to compare one up to the other one. But Blazing Saddles was basically a blazing movie for that, a trailblazing movie for that particular period of time, and it can last until this bit of time if people weren't so in cancellation mode. Now you got to understand the politics of the movie and when it was done, and a lot of those politics still apply for today too. That's the thing.
Right.
But I will give Naked Gun 4 because it was funny, man.
Yeah.
There was so many scenes in there that had me rolling, like the whole part where he was in Vincent Ludwig's office and he got bit by the tiger fish and then he stabbed it with the pin. Peter wouldn't like that one either.
No.
That was hilarious.
Oh, no.
Then he was trying to fake it off and shake his hand and all the water came out and he was like, what?
No, let's go back to the scene where he goes in and sneaks into Vincent Ludwig's apartment, and he accidentally burns the letter and has to go out in the window, and he's hanging from the he touches the lady on her breast when she opens the door because first of all he touches the statue's breast and he's trying to hold on, and then he goes and she opens windows, he screams, and he's holding onto her breast and she's screaming, looking down. And then he goes and grabs onto the penis of the statue.
Oh,
and then when he steps and he's hanging on for dear life, and then he steps up and he turns it upside down. It's crazy. Crazy. And go ahead. Go ahead.
It was pretty funny in there too.
Yes.
The next day when he got into her office, like she was just rolling out everything that he did. And normally that would probably take somebody off the force and everything like that, but no, not him.
Especially when she said that we can't have what happened last year. He said, when I see crazy 5 crazy people in the park doing something, I forgot what he said, paraphrasing, I shoot him. That's what I do. She said it was in a Shakespearean play. You kill 5 really good actors.
You moron. That's what she said. They were all Shakespearean play actors, you moron.
Crazy movie, man. But we're gonna go ahead and And I initially I did give it 4 stars like you did, man. But I just looked back and just thought about it. And I watched it again, and I was like, man, this is really a funny movie. I'm probably going to watch it again, that and Blazing Saddles again after not tonight, but I mean, sometime this week, I'll probably watch it again, man, because they're just very funny, man. Like I said, they just hold up well. But let's get into a bio. And just, we were talking about the aforementioned Leslie Nielsen. That's the bio that we're going to talk about today. Leslie Nielsen was born February. Let me see. Now I'm going to have to pick with which movie to watch tonight. Naked Gun wins by an eyelash. So he was born February 11th, 1926, and he passed in November 28th, 2010. He was 84 years old. He's Canadian-American actor and comedian that had a career that spanned over 60 years, man. 60 years, appearing in over 100 films, over 150 television spots, and he portrayed over 220 characters. Talk about hardest working man in show business. That's a long time and a lot of work, man. He was married 4 times, died while married to his last wife, and he had 2 children. Leslie's father was Danish born, and he was a constable in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. His eldest brother, Eric Nielsen, was born in 1924. He died in 2008. Was a longtime Canadian member of Parliament, cabinet minister, and deputy prime minister of Canada from 1984 to 86. So Leslie's career began in television during the golden age of appearing in 46 live programs in 1950 alone. He was paid very little, making roughly $75 to $100 per episode. He did Broadway for the first time in 1952, and his debut was Seagulls over Sorrento as a petty officer named Petty Officer Herbert. In 1956, he made his feature film debut in a musical called The Vagabond King. His second film was a sci-fi movie, which I got to check out because I remember seeing, I think this might have been on Mystery Science Theater once before, I'm not sure, but The Forbidden Planet, which got him a contract with Metro Goldwyn Mayer, or MGM for short. It was an instant success. In 1957, he was in a rom-com called Tommy and the Bachelor, but he ended up leaving MGM trying for larger roles like Ben-Hur in 1959, but was beat out by Stephen Boyd. His next venture was the Disney miniseries The Swamp Fox, which was highly budgeted, and they made one episode per month, which he mentioned that he really loved because it wasn't just like one episode per week. It was about eight episodes, and it lasted from 1959 to 1961. And he portrayed the character or war hero Francis Marion. He'd go on for more TV appearances, including Justice, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Wagon Train, Gunsmoke, Columbo, The Virginian, The Wild Wild West. In 1961, he did the series called The New Breed, a police drama. And in 1968, he portrayed a major role in the pilot of Hawaii Five-0. Of course, that has seven seasons, but I don't think he did. He only did the one pilot. In 1969, he was in a series called The Bold Ones, The Protectors. 1972, he was the captain in the Poseidon Adventure, which I remember. It was very funny because, again, he did a lot of dramatic roles, and I remember the scene when the water was going to hit the captain's deck, and he was just standing there looking with a serious look, and it was funny because it's Leslie Nielsen, but he just stayed there. He didn't smile. He didn't do anything. The water just coming towards him, and it hit them, and he instantly drowned. 1973, this comedy began with MASH. It was the episode called The Ring Banger. In 1980, Airplane. This is where things took off for him. This was a turning point in his career, and he played the captain in the movie, and he had a famous line in that movie, which became a trademark line that people probably say to this day and probably don't even know where it comes from. But surely you can't be serious. And he responds with, I am serious. And don't call me Shirley. And it stuck. Everybody says that line. And he said he never knew that. Right? Yes, that was an airplane. Yeah. Yes. And it stuck. And he said that he never knew that line would be as big as it was. Movie. Very funny movie. We may have to talk about that at some point. That line was number 79 in American Film Institute's AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movie Quotes. So, yes, classic. Especially when everybody gets in the line to quiet the lady down in the airplane, and you see everybody. He slaps her twice. When the nun tries to stop him, he looks back and slaps her again 2 times.
Oh, hilarious! The one that got me is when Barbara Billingsley was on there talking jive. So look at the
she knew everything. Yeah. She was a translator.
If I wasn't that far removed from those type of shows, Leave It to Beaver and stuff like that, because they were rerun. But it was like, look at this, Leave It to Beaver's mom's on here and trying to talk jive. I said, that is hilarious just in itself.
Very funny. And just let you know that these people are broad in their talent. So I mean, you typecast people as certain characters, and you only remember them as those. Like I watched Nick at Night too as well, and so I watched like Mr. Ed, Leave It to Beaver, My Three Sons, all those type of My Favorite Martian, many different things like that. You know, I would watch all those shows. Let me see. He also had 1982 Police Squad. Like I said, he was Frank Drebin, and of course, 1988, the movie we just reviewed, the aforementioned Naked Gun, and his subsequent sequels. But he was also in Prom Night in 1980. He was in Creepshow in 1982, and he had a lot of duds too later on. You know, he did Repossess, which is a dud, 1990. 2001, A Space Travesty, 2001. These are cult movies for people who love Leslie Nielsen. So if you're a Leslie Nielsen fan, you're going to love these movies, but they didn't do well at the box office. Dracula Dead and Loving It, Spy Hard, 1996, and Wrongfully Accused. Those are spoofs of both James Bond and The Fugitive. So Leslie Nielsen, we send a shout out to you. Rest in peace. And I hope your family's doing well. And we love your movies, sir. Last episode, I totally forgot the movies we were going to do, so I didn't put it out there what we're going to watch. I like to put the movies out there. We like to put the movies out there so you can watch it. We give you a week to watch it. We try to do it on 3 free platforms like Tubi and some other ones that may be out there. So that you can, shout out Tubi. Know that we're watching you. Hopefully you're watching us. Sponsorship. But that being said, look, we want to put the movies out there so you can watch them because we give spoilers. We always give spoilers because we like to break down the movies and talk about them. This is some funny stuff that's in the movie. Speaking of which, the movies we're going to do, we haven't done yet because there are people out there. We want to keep it diverse. We're going to do some rom-coms. We're going to do a very old one in The Graduate and one that might be related to it called Rumor Has It, where the characters in the movie talk about their family, realizing that their family is the movie is based off of what their family did. And so these are the movies that we're going to have. The Rumor Has It, and The Graduate. One oldie but goodie and a not so oldie but goodie. So hopefully you enjoy, again, watch those movies and come back to us. And like I said, we have spoilers. But B, you got anything for the people out there?
No, actually, we had a really good show today. I think it was fun. A lot of participants. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, as always, Robbie. And these movies were just 2 classically funny movies that we did today. And hopefully that the 2 that we do, The Graduate, I know is a classic. Rumor Has It is one that is not as prominent as The Graduate, but it's still a funny rom-com. And we're going to talk about that. Yeah, but hey,
cool.
By the way, if you guys really, we haven't gotten the emails yet, guys, and get the email down there so you can send us your request.
Yes,
I'm not saying we're going to follow to them immediately, but we will formulate a list. And this way, bwflix2026@gmail.com is the email. And we also take criticism. We also take constructive criticism. If you got anything you want to say about us, or anything, you can put it in the chat, or you can actually. Thank you, Dan. We appreciate you, man. But put it in the chat, or you can actually put it in the email. That being said, if you like our show, please subscribe, like the episodes that you see, and share it with your friends. Because we got plenty more to come. We got a lot of different things. We're going to do birthdays of actors. We're going to do holidays, movies. We're going to do a lot of different things here. And we want to be, and we're going to do our top 5 of movies too, as well. So please put it in the email, and please put it in the chat what you like. And like B said, we'll try to get to it as quick as we can because we already have a list here. And again, our show is Tuesday nights on YouTube. And what are we on Facebook as well? Yep.
Yeah, YouTube and Facebook. Please like, subscribe, and share. And this is BW Flix. I'm James Martin, and this is B Strilla, and we will see you next week Tuesday at 8 p.m.